You and Eren Yeager are the same age. You grew up in the same town, behind the same wall, under the same lie. There's only one difference between you, and it's the one that decides everything. He's the main character. You are not. This is Attack on Titan from the seat nobody shows you, not the hero with the power in his blood and an author keeping him breathing. The kid standing next to him, same age, same town, same day you both sign your lives away. He has destiny, you have luck. Let's see how far luck gets you. You're 10 years old. Your entire world is 3 rings of stone. Wall Maria on the outside, Wall Rose in the middle, Wall Cena at the heart, where the rich and the king sleep safe. For 100 years those walls have held, and for 100 years humanity has lived inside them like fish in a bowl, telling itself the bowl is the whole ocean. Outside there are titans, giants 3, 5, 15 meters tall, naked and grinning and mindless, who exist for one reason only. To eat you, not for food. They don't need food. They do it because they want to. One day you watch the Survey Corps come home. The only people brave or stupid enough to go outside the walls. They left at full strength. They come back as a handful of broken men leading wagons of corpses, and a woman runs up screaming, asking where her son is, and a soldier hands her a single severed arm. That's all that's left. You feel sick, you feel afraid, but the boy next to you, Eren, he doesn't look afraid. He looks at those broken soldiers like he wants to be one of them. He wants to see the outside so badly it scares his friends. And right there is the first crack between you and him. He dreams of leaving. You just want the wall to hold. Remember that feeling, because the wall is about to not hold. Year 845. It's an ordinary afternoon. And then a shadow falls over the entire town, and you look up, and you see a face. A face peering over the top of a 50-meter wall, skinless. All red muscle and bone, steam pouring off it, eyes that don't blink. The Colossal Titan. Bigger than anything anyone believed could exist. For 1 second, the whole town just stares, too stunned to move. And then it pulls back a leg and kicks the front gate of Shiganshina to pieces. The gate that's held for a century, gone in a single kick. A wall of wind and debris the size of houses comes screaming through the streets, and people are torn apart before the Titans even arrive. And then they arrive. The hole in the wall is open, and through it they come, walking, smiling, pouring into your town. Now it's just running. You're running, and you don't even know where. The people are being plucked off the streets around you and bitten in half. A Titan grabs a man 2 doors down, and the screaming stops in one wet crunch. Eren and his sister Mikasa run home and find their house collapsed, and their mother Carla pinned under the rubble, her legs crushed beneath a beam they're too small to lift. They pull. They can't move it. And a Titan is coming. A fat, smiling thing walking up the road toward them. Their mother stops telling them to save her and starts telling them to run. A soldier named Hannes shows up, a man who knew the family, and he means to kill the Titan. He looks at it, and he freezes. He can't. So instead he grabs both kids, throws them over his shoulders, and runs. And Eren, 10 years old, looks back over Hannes' shoulder and watches that Titan reach down into the rubble, lift his mother out by the body, and eat her alive while she's still looking at him. That image is the engine of this entire story. That's the moment that builds the boy who one day ends the world. And you saw it too. You just don't get a story about it. Then comes the second wall. The armored Titan, skin like plates of rock, and it lowers its head and charges the inner gate of Shiganshina like a battering ram. And that gate breaks too, and the rest of the Titans flood deeper in. Humanity does the only thing it can. It abandons Wall Maria completely and runs for Wall Rose, and in a single day, you lose a third of the entire world. Not a battle. A third of all the land humans have, swallowed in an afternoon. Survival check 1. If you lived in Shiganshina that day, the odds are you were already dead in the first 10 minutes, along with most of the town. But say you got out with the others. Good. Now the people who were supposed to protect you decide you're a problem. Behind Wall Rose, there are too many refugees and not enough food. You're one of them now. Crammed in, hungry, a mouth the government can't afford to feed. So they come up with a plan, and they wrap it in a flag and call it heroism. The operation to retake Wall Maria. They armed 250,000 refugees. That's about 1 in 5 people left alive on the planet, and they march them right back out the gate toward the Titans and to reclaim the lost land. That's the official story. The real story is simpler. There isn't enough food, so they're sending a fifth of the population out to die, so the rest can eat. You are not a soldier in this. You're a hungry mouth being deleted. Out of 250,000 who march out, fewer than 200 come home. Read that again. 200,000 leave. Under 200 return. Survival check 2. Your odds in that crowd are worse than 1 in 1,000. If this story wanted you alive, it would never have put you in that march. But somehow, you're one of the 200, so you make the only decision that makes any sense in a world like this. You decide to stop being prey. You go become a soldier. Same year, the boy Eren makes the same choice, swearing he'll kill every Titan there is. You join the 104th Training Corps. 3 years. They teach you to fly. Vertical maneuvering gear, 2 hooks fire from your hips, pressurized gas, blades, and you learn to swing through the air at this terrifying speed, because the only way to kill a Titan is to slice the back of its neck, one narrow strip of flesh, the single weak point in a wall of monster. You're not bad at it, you make friends. You meet them all. The angry kid Eren, his terrifyingly gifted sister Mikasa, the small blonde strategist Armin, a loudmouth named John, a girl named Sasha who would die for a potato, and you meet the strong, quiet ones too. Reiner, the big reliable one everyone leans on. Bertolt, the tall, shy one who never says much. Annie, the cold blonde who fights like a machine. Good soldiers, your comrades. You have absolutely no idea what they are yet. Nobody does. The top 10 graduates earn a spot in the military police, safe service in the interior, away from the Titans. You train for 3 years to earn the right to be safe, and on the very day you graduate, the day the ceremony ends, the ground shakes, and that face appears over the wall again. The Colossal Titan is back, this time at Trost District, and it kicks the gate open exactly like before, and the Titans pour in exactly like before, except now you have blades on your back, and they hand you a few hours of gas and shove you into the streets as support. You're a brand new soldier in your first real fight, and it is a slaughter. Whole squads vanish on first contact. Eren's squad, Squad 34, is wiped out in seconds. You watch a friend get swallowed whole. You watch another freeze when his gas runs dry, stuck to a rooftop, screaming as a Titan closes its hand around him. There is so much dying, and it happens so fast. And in the middle of it, Eren does the thing that puts him in the center of everything. He gets eaten, he throws himself into a Titan's mouth to push his friend Armin clear, and he's swallowed, losing an arm and a leg, gone. And then, inside the belly of the monster, something wakes up in him. Lightning. The Titan that ate him bursts open, and Eren climbs out, except now Eren is a Titan. 15 meters of muscle and fury, and he turns on the other Titans and starts tearing them apart. He has the one power that could change the war, and he doesn't even understand it yet. He used that Titan body to lift a boulder the size of a building and carry it across the city and plug the hole in the wall with it, sealing the breach. The first time in a century humanity takes anything back. Eren is a hero now. And you're somewhere 3 streets over just trying to keep your gas from hitting 0. By the time it's over, 207 soldiers are dead or missing, almost 900 more are torn open and broken. And there's a rule you learn the hard way that day. If you run from the fight, that's desertion, and desertion gets you executed where you stand. So you fight or you die, and mostly people just die. Later you find a friend's body, or half of it. A boy named Marco, left to be eaten after 2 of your own comrades quietly stole his gear. You don't know who did it yet. You will. Survival check. 3. Fresh recruits are the first thing thrown into the grinder and the first to go. If you walked out of Trost with all 4 limbs, you're already luckier than almost anyone who ever wore the uniform. But surviving Trost qualifies you for the one thing nobody sane wants. The Survey Corps. The green cloak with the wings on the back. The unit that goes outside on purpose, led by a giant of a commander named Erwin and the strongest soldier alive. A small man named Levi, who can kill Titans like he's bored. Your first mission outside the walls is the 57th Expedition. 128 of you right out the gate. The plan is brilliant on paper. Spread into a massive formation across the countryside, spot Titans from far off, fire-colored flares to pass the warning, and steer the entire column around every threat. Avoid the fight completely, reach the goal, come home. And then the plan meets something it was never built for. A Titan that thinks. The female Titan. She moves with purpose, she dodges, she fights like a trained soldier, and she rips through the right flank before a single warning flare can climb the sky. She isn't mindless. She's hunting. She catches Levi's personal squad, the most elite fighters in the entire Corps, people whose names you knew, and she destroys all of them, snapping them on their own wires, slamming them into trees in moments. The best of the best gone. And you're out there somewhere in that formation, holding a flare gun, doing exactly what you were told, and the warning never even reaches you before the screaming starts on the wind. Survival check. 4. No skill saves you from an enemy smarter than your entire strategy. You're a soldier on a horse with a signal flare when the smartest monster alive decides to wipe the board clean. It only gets worse because the enemy was never just outside. Word comes that Wall Rose itself has been breached, and you scramble to evacuate civilians, and a group of your comrades gets pinned in an old tower at night, surrounded by Titans that impossibly are still active in the dark, being herded by something new, a Titan covered in fur that stands like a man and speaks. The Beast Titan. More of your veterans die in that tower. And then comes the betrayal that breaks the whole story open. On top of the wall, in front of Eren Reiner, your big dependable comrade, calmly says it out loud. He and Berthold are the Armored and the Colossal Titans, the 2 that broke the wall on the first day, the 2 that started all of it. They've been living beside you the entire time, training with you, eating with you, mourning the people they killed right next to you, and now they grab Eren and run, and the Corps gives chase, and in that chase you lose someone who was there at the very beginning. Hannes, the soldier who saved Eren and Mikasa from their mother's death, the man who carried those kids to safety, gets bitten in half by the very same smiling Titan that ate Carla all those years ago. The story is eating its own. And in his grief and rage, Eren slams his hand down and accidentally screams out a power he didn't know he had, and every nearby Titan turns at once and obeys him. The coordinate, the founding Titan, the ability to command them all. He's holding the key to everything in his hands and he barely knows it. Then comes the day the legends die. After a brutal stretch of politics back home, a coup, a new queen, the Corps marches to retake Shiganshina at last, to reach the basement of Eren's childhood home, where his father said the truth was hidden. You go with them. And it's a trap. Reiner is waiting inside the wall. And from beyond the wall, the Beast Titan starts throwing, not at the wall, at you. Boulders the size of wagons, hurled with deadly accuracy, raining down on the soldiers, and everyone that lands turns a cluster of men into a smear on the stone. You can't dodge it. There is no skill that helps. There's only luck, and you watching everyone around you run out of it one by one. And then Commander Irwin gives the order, and every soldier left understands precisely what it means. Charge. All of you on horseback straight into the storm of boulders, straight at the thing killing you, not to win. To die loud enough and bright enough that one man, Levi, can use the distraction to slip through and end it. You are bait. Your death is the plan. The commander rides at the front of the suicide charge and dies leading it. Out of that entire battle, 9 people survive. 9. The strategist Armin is burned almost to nothing stopping Berthold, and Levi is forced to choose who lives, the dying commander or the dying boy, and he chooses Armin, who eats Berthold and takes the Colossal Titan power for himself. Survival check 5. You already know the answer. The charge is a suicide order, and you were in it. If you somehow lived through Shiganshina, you're not lucky anymore. You are statistically impossible. And yet, here you are, still breathing one of the ghosts, as they finally crack open that basement door. And inside, everything you ever believed dies. There's no weapon down there. There are journals, and a photograph. A photograph which means a camera, which means technology, which humanity inside the walls doesn't have. The truth is this. Humanity is not almost extinct. You are never the last people on Earth. Across the sea there is a whole world. Nations, cities, oceans, millions of people, an entire civilization that has known about your island the entire time. The Titans were never a natural disaster. They are people. Your people turned into monsters as punishment. You are Eldians, a race the outside world blames for the sins of an ancient empire penned up on this island called Devils, and marked for extermination. And the enemy who knocked down your wall on the first day, that wasn't a monster from the wild. It was sent by that world to wipe you out. 2 kids you trained beside. Every horror you've survived was one move in a war you didn't even know existed. And the boy at the center of it, Eren, now knows all of it too. That's the part that ends the world. Because something breaks in Eren after that. Years pass. You're a veteran now, one of the impossible few, watching the war change shape. The story even leaves your island for a while and shows you the enemy side. A little boy and girl over there, taught to hate you exactly the way you were taught to hate them. And you start to understand there are no monsters here. Only people on both sides of the sea, raised on the same hatred. But Eren doesn't see a way to peace. He infiltrates the enemy nation, and in the middle of their festival, surrounded by civilians, he transforms in a crowded street and declares war on the entire world, and devours another Titan's power to grow stronger. The boy who watched his mother die has decided the whole world has to pay, and your side fractures down the middle, friend against friend, over what he's about to do, because what he's about to do is unthinkable. He takes the full power of the founding Titan, and he reaches into the walls themselves, the 3 rings of stone that protected you your entire life, and he reveals the secret hiding inside them. Millions of Colossal Titans, packed into the walls, dormant for a century. The walls were never just protection. They were the largest weapon ever built, and you were sitting on it the whole time. Eren wakes them all, and he marches them out, an endless ocean of 50-meter giants flattening everything in their path. Not a battle, an extinction. Every city, every nation, every person beyond your island ground into the earth under a wall of marching Titans that does not stop and cannot be stopped. They call it the rumbling. And by the time it's done, roughly 80% of every human being left on the planet is dead. And this is where your luck finally runs out, because you can't watch this happen. So you go with the last alliance, the desperate handful of soldiers and former enemies who throw everything they have left into stopping him, flying into the shadow of those marching giants to reach Eren and end it. And out there, in the dust and the thunder of a million footsteps, you die. Not heroically, not in a duel, the way a soldier with no plot armor always dies. A foot the size of a building comes down, or the debris takes you, or you simply fall, and it's over in less than a second, and the battle doesn't even pause. No one says your name. The story keeps going, because that's the rule. It always kept going without you, and it does end, just not for you. The Alliance reaches him. The strongest soldier kills the Beast Titan and stops the marching giants in their tracks. And Mikasa, the girl who loved Eren her entire life, climbs into the mouth of his Titan and cuts off his head. She kills the person she loves most in the world to save what's left of it, and in that moment, the curse breaks. The power of the Titans vanishes from the earth. Everyone still trapped as a monster turns human again. It's over. The world is saved. At the cost of most of the world. The few who lived carry it forward. Mikasa buries Eren's head under a tree on a hill and visits it for the rest of her life. Armin becomes a voice for peace, trying to end a cycle that maybe can't be ended. Levi, the strongest soldier humanity ever had, ends up in a wheelchair, missing fingers and an eye, watched over by 2 of the enemy children he once fought. Peace comes. It's fragile and it's stained, and the very last pages hint the hatred will simply find a new shape someday, the way it always has. But for now, people live. People who would all be dead, if not for the soldiers who bought them every inch of it with their lives. Soldiers exactly like you. Because here's what this whole story is really about under all the giants and all the blood. Every legend you've ever heard of, Eren, Levi, Mikasa, every hero who lived long enough to matter was standing on a mountain of nameless soldiers who didn't, and those soldiers had a phrase for what they did. They'd make a fist and press it hard over their heart. Dedicate your hearts, that's what you were. A heart, given so that someone else could keep moving forward. You don't get a statue, you don't get remembered. The history books will never know your name. But the hero only reached the end of the story because you spent your life buying him the time. So, would you survive Attack on Titan? No, you wouldn't. Almost nobody does. But you are the reason somebody did. And maybe that was always the bravest thing a person could be. If you give your heart, drop the salute in the comments. New scenario next week. Try not to die in that one either.